Now, some movies don't just entertain you. Some of them remind you of long car rides, summer breaks, rainy afternoons, breakups, old friends, or the weathered couch you watched them from as a kid. That's really what comfort movies do. They collect pieces of your life and hide them inside the tape, and then years later you hit play and all the memories come back. And I got 5 movies from the 80s that I think deliver just that. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Anthony DeJoya, and this is Sunset Video, where the popcorn's probably over butter squirted and every shelf has at least one movie that can fix your entire mood in under 90 minutes. This is my retro comfort movie series where I cover the flicks that I go back to repeatedly, not because they're flawless or because they won every award, but because they still work on me. They calm me down, they crack me up, they take me home, or remind me of a version of myself I haven't visited in a while. So grab your snacks and let's rewind into 5 more 80s comfort movies.
This is crazy.
Now, there are few movies that capture the emotional circus of a family road trip better than National Lampoon's Vacation. On paper, it's simple. Clark just wants to take his family across the country to Wally World. That's it. That's the mission. Load up the car, bond with the family, journey the highways, all to make some memories. But of course, because this is the Griswold family after all, Make Some Memories quickly becomes a long-form disaster ballet involving bad directions, dead relatives, questionable motels, car trouble, and Clark slowly transforming from a cheerful family patriarch into a suburban madman steering the family ship directly into chaos. And that's part of why this movie is so comforting to me. I've always been a huge Chevy Chase fan, and as a kid who went on a ton of RV vacations with his family, the road time in this movie just feels weirdly familiar. Not because my family vacations included all the same chaos, thankfully, but just because it captures that strange road trip blend of boredom, excitement, frustration, and togetherness, for better or worse. Now, as a kid, to no surprise, I related more to Rusty. I was the kid trapped in the car, dragged along on this family adventure, trying to survive whatever strange thing the family did next, and all the while just hoping the next campground would have some cool trails to ride bikes. But watching now and being older than Clark was in this movie, I can appreciate his role a lot more.
Hey, Dad, you must have jumped this thing about 50 yards.
That's nothing to be proud of, Rusty. 50 yards.
He's ridiculous and makes terrible choices, and the man is basically one family crisis away from becoming a roadside attraction himself. But underneath all of that is a guy that's just trying too hard to give his family something special. So I think that's the comfort of this movie, but it's also packed with jokes. I think the humor hits from all directions, a big physical comedy, awkward family moments, deadpan lines, complete absurdity, but there's just also a little heart beating underneath all the nonsense. It just reminds me of being a kid and packed into a vehicle on a family trip and staring out the window, just hoping the destination would be worth the drive and not really realizing until years later that the drive was the memory. So for me, this first Griswold adventure is pure feel-good comfort cinema. It's messy, quotable, chaotic, and somehow still kind of sweet. It's the American family road trip turned into a demolition derby with a theme park at the end, and honestly, that's comforting to me in so many ways.
Trying to say Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball?
Now, to me, Major League isn't just one of the best baseball movies ever. I think it might be one of the best sports movies ever made. I know that may be a bold and ludicrous statement to all you purists out there, but for myself, as a guy who lives his life to the beat of Mad Magazine, I stand by it with the confidence of a man wearing a Cleveland Indians jersey pretending that he can hit a curveball. I just think this movie has everything you want from a sports comedy: a team of misfits, a villainous owner, a washed up catcher with bad knees, a wild pitcher with a rocket arm and no idea where the ball is going, a voodoo-loving slugger, you get a cocky speedster, a crusty manager, and one of the most satisfying underdog arcs in 80s sports cinema. All of that alone makes it a great comfort movie, but to be honest, my attachment to this movie is deeply personal. This movie really helped pull me through some sad, really dark, tragic times in my teens. I had graduated from the 10th grade and I got dumped at the graduation party that same night out of nowhere, like it was predestined, which really is a 1-2 combo from the universe, because one minute you're moving forward in life and love with endless possibilities, and then the next minute you're emotionally face down in the parking lot with a glove compartment full of rubbers you know you're never going to get to use before they expire. So naturally, that summer I spent a lot of time with the blinds closed, drowning my sorrows in sunny delight and Costco bagel dogs and Major League. And God, how good were those bagel dogs? If you know, you know. But honestly, that was a solid teenage survival kit. I love sports, I love baseball, and this movie with its real life cartoon energy always made me forget about the broken teenage heart inside little Anthony for 90 minutes.
So what do you think about that?
It's just a fun, loud, fast movie full of characters who felt larger than life without ever losing that blue-collar sports charm. Charlie Sheen as Ricky Vaughn is just a pure late 80s electricity. Tom Berenger gives the movie its worn-in veteran heart. Corbin Burnson is gloriously smug. Wesley Snipes brings lightning in a bottle charisma, and then you get Bob Uecker as Harry Doyle delivering some of the best sports commentary ever put to film. So I think the comfort here is that Major League makes losing feel temporary, like something you can come back from. You have a bad season, keep swinging. A bad breakup, eat a bagel dog and put the tape back in for a rewatch. Life throws you a curveball, take a shot of Jobu's rum, step in, stare it down, and knock it into the cheap seats.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, ladies. We'll see you later.
You know, Weekend at Bernie's is just one of those movies that feels like it shouldn't work. The premise is dark. You got two young employees that discover their boss is dead and then spend the entire weekend pretending he's alive so that they don't get killed, arrested, or even mildly inconvenienced in ways that spiral completely out of control in the most comical of ways. That sounds grim when you say it plainly, but the movie plays like a beach vacation for idiots, and I do mean that with affection. McCarthy and Silverman are regular guys who think they've stumbled into a dream weekend at their boss's beach house, but instead they stumble into a corpse, a crime scene, and really one of the most ridiculous extended physical comedy routines of the entire decade. And somehow, because the movie is so committed to being silly, it just becomes weirdly relaxing. This was another movie I watched on repeat during the post-10th grade black summer of 1992. I had it on VHS, and the beach vibe, the soundtrack, and the relentless dim-witted humor were just exactly what I needed. It's hard to stay moody when Bernie Lomax is being dragged around a party like the world's most committed social butterfly, so the comfort of Weekend at Bernie's, for me at least, is in its total refusal to be serious. Life is constantly trying to pull you into a self-serious loop with bills and stress and work and health and weird moods and existential static buzzing in the background. But then you put this movie on and suddenly you're at a beach house on the coast with two panicked goofballs trying to make a dead man look casual, and that's cinema. It may not be distinguished cinema, but it's comfort cinema nonetheless.
Put it on him. Put it on him. Huh? Oh. Brilliant.
So the summer energy is huge for this one. The blue skies, the beach house, the music, the parties, the boats, the bikinis, the whole late 80s coastal vibe. It just, I think, has that school is out, responsibilities are fake, and nobody's making good choices feeling to it that you just kind of want from a movie sometimes. And now that I'm adult-ish, I still like putting this one on when the summer starts because it just kicks open the season and it says put on some shorts, grill something, stop checking your email, and definitely turn your brain off. It's goofy, it's comically morbid, sunny, and completely committed to the bit. That's why it works. It's not asking you to think too hard. It actually prefers that you don't think at all. It's a movie that just wants you to sit back, loosen up, and let the ridiculous comedy carry you away like a dead boss caught in the surf.
How's that? Oh, you idiot, you put it on upside down!
Dork, if God meant to do it that way, you'd all be pissing in your faces.
Looks fine to me.
Now, I think some comfort movies feel like so because they remind you of home, and for me, The Goonies is one of those movies. It's pure childhood escapism. A group of kids find an old treasure map and head off on an underground adventure full of booby traps and pirate legends and criminal weirdos and caves and one of the most epic pirate ships in movie history. So it's the kind of movie that makes a childhood feel huge. Backyards become kingdoms, attics become museums, old maps become invitations, and a rainy afternoon can suddenly become a call to adventure. I grew up in the Pacific Northwest, so just the look and the feel of this movie always hits me in a personal way. The gloomy skies, the evergreen trees, the damp coastal atmosphere, the sense that adventure could be waiting just beyond the neighborhood was my backyard growing up. So this movie just always connected with me.
60 and another 40 is an even 100, right to the old restaurant. Gotta be there.
And as kids, we went on plenty of adventures out into the woods. Sadly, we've never stumbled into a pirate treasure. We just found a hidden pond, a couple of sketchy, secluded shacks, and an old telephone box full of some questionably weathered hustlers, but that's part of why The Goonies felt like a backyard movie to me. It made it seem possible that the woods, the coast, the old houses, and the forgotten corners of town were potentially hiding something incredible. Now, watching it as an adult, the comfort has shifted a little bit. I love the adventure still. I still love the humor. I still love Data's gadgets and Chunk's confessions and Mouth's chaos and Mikey's belief in the whole ramshackle kid game energy. But now with this movie, I also feel the nostalgia of the place. I moved south and found the beach, which is great, but The Goonies just always brings me back to that hometown feeling, the gray weather, the trees, the cool air, the sense of being a kid in a place where everything felt mysterious and damp. I mean, this one just dials up those feelings perfectly, and it also just has that, I don't know, that Amblin era magic where danger, comedy, friendship, and emotion all lived in the same neighborhood, because this movie's funny, it's exciting and sentimental, but it's not soft because it understands that childhood adventure is serious business when you're a kid. So the stakes here feel enormous because to the characters, they are enormous. The treasure matters, the friendships mean something, saving the neighborhood has actual weight to it, and that's the comfort of this movie. The Goonies takes you back to a time when a bike ride could turn into a story of legend, and sometimes life needs you to bring back that inner child to the surface just to keep you sane.
$97.51.
$97.51? What? Is that pesos? This is for a dog. This is dog food. $97.51?
Now, I've said this before, and I will say it again. Turner and Hooch is the Citizen Kane of dog movies. I know it's a bold, a scholarly, and possibly irresponsible take, but I'm sticking with it, given that this movie delivers all a dog lover could hope for with the side of 80s comedy Tom Hanks just before he went serious. I think this is one of those movies that gives you a little bit of everything. It has comedy, action, mystery, it's got a slobbering dog wrecking a very organized man's life, and it has Tom Hanks in that sweet spot of his 80s comedy era where he could make frustration, charm, panic, and decency all play in the same scene. Hanks plays a neat, orderly, small-town detective whose life is basically color-coded. He likes things clean, controlled, he likes things where he left them, and then he gets Hooch. Hooch is a massive, drooling, chaos-powered dog who becomes both his partner and his demolition crew. So the movie is really built on that classic odd couple setup, only half the couple has paws and a massive drooling problem. I remember watching it as a kid and just wanting to have a dog of my own, and later I remember watching it during quiet weekends as a bachelor, still dying to have my own dog, and it just became one of those easy relaxation movies. And now, as a married guy with a huge dog of his own, my wife and I still love watching it. And I think that's one of the cool things about comfort cinema. It can follow you. A movie can mean one thing when you're a kid, another thing when you're living alone, and something else completely when you're sharing it with someone. I also think Turner and Hooch benefits from a great setting. It gives you a fun variation on the beach town vibe, but with a more of a port town atmosphere. It feels breezy, lived in, and just slightly offbeat, which helps the movie go down easy. I also think the supporting cast adds a lot to this one as well. Vel Johnson is a great sidekick presence. He's warm and funny without overplaying it. Craig T. Nelson makes for a strong villain to give the movie just enough threat to balance out all the dog comedy, but without question, the heart here is Hanks and Hooch. So the comfort comes from watching this rigid guy slowly get broken down by a dog who has absolutely no respect for upholstery or personal space. It's funny, it's sweet, it has that late 80s blend of comedy and danger, and it reminds you that sometimes the mess that barges into your life is exactly what your life might have needed. And that's what I love about this group of movies. I think they all hit a different comfort button. Vacation turns family chaos into something oddly warm. Major League makes losing feel temporary. Weekend at Bernie's lets you shut your brain off and drift into ridiculous summer nonsense, and The Goonies takes you back to the age where every weird corner of town felt like it could be hiding a treasure, and Turner and Hooch just reminds us that sometimes the mess that wrecks your plans is exactly what your plans might have needed. And that's comfort cinema. It doesn't always make sense on paper. Sometimes it's personal, sometimes it's nostalgic, sometimes it's just the movie that found you at the right time and never really left. Now I want to kick it back to you guys. Let me know down in the comments what some of your go-to 80s comfort movies are, or movies from any decade, actually. Movies that you can just watch anytime, during any mood, or any day of the week. And if you enjoyed this video and you want more rental shelf nostalgia, you can check out my Friday Night Rentals playlist, where we dig into cult favorites that basically lived inside VCRs. You can also check out my Summer of '87 video for more retro movie season goodness. Thank you guys, as always, for watching and stopping by Sunset Video. I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. If you did, drop it a like. Subscribe if you haven't done so. Leave me a comment so we can continue the conversation. I hope to see you guys all back in the next video. And until then, movies never say die.
Jack Burton and the Pork Chop Express, and I'm talking to whoever's listening out there.
Survive a war, you gotta become war.
I suppose we have to register you as a lethal weapon.
You trying to say Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball?